Oh boy, where to begin? Welcome to Vault Talk. I'm your host Jared, and today we're going to be talking about a movie that came out in 1962, The Brain That Wouldn't Die. Directed by Joseph Greene, this movie was filmed in 1959, but didn't get its release until 1962. Obviously, this falls under the B-movie category, being only shot in 13 days, as well as having a budget of modern-day equivalent $500,000. The movie focuses on mad scientist Dr. Bill Courtner, played by Jason Evers, who's looking for a way to replace human body parts by transplanting them from other humans, sort of like what the Lizard was doing in Spider-Man. One day, after his fiancée Jane Compton, played by Virginia Leith, is decapitated in an automobile accident, he races to his laboratory and suspends her head in a pan. While Jane sits in limbo, Dr. Courtner races to find the perfect body for his future wife. Now clearly this is not the best movie ever made, but I will start off with some positives. For starters, the special effects are actually pretty interesting. Without the costume design in this movie, it's tough to say that we would see a character like Sloth in the Goonies. Now let's move on to the not so great things about this movie. To start off, this movie is extremely slow. Coming in at about 80 minutes, it feels like it's almost 2.5 hours. Part of the issue with this being the dialogue. There's constant exposition in this movie.
You didn't find her a body? Well, I've got to be careful. I can't afford to be identified as the last person seen with a girl before she disappears.
As well as random talking that really slows down the pace.
I haven't seen you for quite a while.
Too long. I'm still waiting for that call you once promised me.
You know how it is with interns. All work.
All work and no play even makes for dull doctors. You're gonna lose that bedside manner of yours. Say, how's that little side course in anatomy?
When you do have action, it's basically just the head in the pan talking about doing something.
Together we're both more than things. We're a power as hideous as our deformities. Together we'll wreak our revenge.
This movie really only speeds up during the final climax. Another negative of this movie is that it's kinda campy. The music, for one, is a hit or miss. At times, it builds perfectly for the suspense of this film. At other times, it just kind of is there and doesn't really flow with what's happening on the screen. Now obviously the director Joseph Greene knew when making this movie that it wasn't the best movie, but he did, I feel, give a genuine shot at trying to make this movie somewhat entertaining. Fortunately, with such scenes as the head in the pan and the monster in the closet, this movie has given some iconic imagery to film, especially in the horror genre. Although it isn't the best film ever made, it definitely is worth at least one watch. That's about it for this review. Thanks for watching Vault Talk. I'm your host Jared, and be sure to tune in for the next episode as I talk about James Bond and his first film, Dr. No. See you then.